Here we are again. We've got this script which produces this output. So we have some attributes for each of these properties. Specifically, those are the attributes of this block here. So price, address, and some attributes like the number of bets and so on. Now I'd like to go further and extract the lot size for each property whenever that attribute is available. So as you see here, some properties don't have a lot size, and while lot size is an important attribute to get to know from a property, in this case it's also quite a tricky one to extract from this web page. And the reason is that if you look at the source code, you'll see that this is the name of the attribute, so lot size, and this is the actual value that we want to extract. And both of these are inside this division. So the first line there. That division has a class name of column group. Now we have another column group class, so another division with the column group class here as the second line. Then if you look at another property, so another row of property, you'll see that this column group division is repeating here. So if you write a loop to extract the span with feature name class for all the properties, for this property you would be able to get the actual lot size, but for this other one you'd probably get the age of the property, but you'd be expecting the lot size. You'd be getting the age of the property because the age of the property is the first feature name there, and lot size also is the first feature name, so with feature name class in the second property. So this is one of those cases where you need to think about alternative solutions. So if you point to the column group method, so you say find all in division with class column group, and inside that find the feature name with index 0, you'd get the first lines. You know that. Now let's find a solution then. Well, how about looping through all these column groups, and then we check that if the text of the feature group is equal to lot size, then give me the text inside feature name. So in that specific iteration, again, if the feature group is equal to lot size, or it has the lot size string inside the text, then in that current iteration give me the text value of feature name. So we'll need a loop here inside our big loop. So this big loop here, let's call it the big loop, is going through each of these rows, and then inside that, inside the current iteration of that big loop, so let's say the current iteration would be going through this property, so inside that we go to the column group divisions. So let's say let's call this variable column group. In the current variable will be item, so again item as we did there, item dot find all actually. So you want to find divisions with a class name of column group, and let me quickly print out the column group variable, so just to see what we have so far. And here we go. So these are the data we have, and then here goes, let me go up here. Here are the source code for each of the column group divisions. So the first division, the second division, and so on. So this is features, which corresponds to this header here. And then we have architecture style, which is not what we need. We have roof type. So at each iteration, Python is printing out these lines. Now, what we want to do with these lines, let's keep the print there for a while. What we want to do with these lines is iterate through them again. So we will iterate through this div, and we will iterate through this other div, and we will see that if the text or the feature group in that current iteration has the string lot size, then we will get the text of the feature name for that current iteration. So again, we need a for loop here, which will go through each of these column group divisions. So what it will do, it will access the feature group element and the feature name element as well. So for feature group, feature name in, and we need to use a zip function there. So as you may remember it, a zip function, which is a built-in Python function, is used to iterate through two lists at the same time. So here is where you enter the two lists inside the zip function. And our two lists would be, the first one would be column group dot find all spans, so span with a class name of feature group. And similarly, we need to access the column group dot find all, and we need the span tag again, but this time we need a class of feature name. So don't confuse these variables with these class names. And here closes the zip function, so this bracket here. And so after the for statement, you need the colon here. Okay, now what do you want to do for each feature group? Well, let's temporarily print out the feature group text, for instance, and also the feature name.text. And let me delete this. So this column group here corresponds with all this block of divisions. So execute that. We've got an invalid syntax here, and look for the arrow here. Yeah, here is a small arrow. So this one here is pointing us to this character, which actually is a semicolon. For some reason I put a semicolon there, so it should be a colon, not a semicolon. Okay, let me execute that again. So here is what we get. For the first property, for instance, we got this previous attributes printed out, so none, none, none for this first one. And then we have, here is the feature group text, and here is the feature name text. And similarly, we have the feature group text here for the next feature group and feature name, and so on. And then we have the next property there, which actually has quite a lot of attributes there. Heating, fuel, gas. And here is something you should know now, you should be aware about. Let me open again the Century 21 website. Rock Springs. So as you can see, the second property doesn't have this many attributes. So it has age, appliances, and basement, but not bed features and cooling and etc. So these extra attributes are somehow hidden in the source code of this web page, and you can access them if you go. So if you click the link of the web page of the specific property. So here are all the attributes that we're seeing here. So fireplace count, 2 fireplaces. Here is fireplace count. And you can also see that the lot size is listed in the property web page. So here it is, which is actually a good thing. So we are being able to extract all the attributes of a property without having to go inside the property web page, the property link. So that's a good thing. And now what we need to do is, let's keep the print statement there for a while, and we need to check, so here under the for loop, if lot size in feature group dot text, so for instance, is the lot size string inside this feature group text? If it is, then give me the feature name.text. So it will give me the value here. If it is not, then just don't do anything. So we leave the loop as it is. So let me delete this function now, the print function that we executed earlier, and execute this. So here we go. We've got nothing here. These are previous attributes. And then we have 4 attributes here. And then we have 0.21 acres. Here we got half an acre. Okay, that is looking good now, and I'd like now to go through the next lecture where you'll learn how to get rid of these print statements and to actually store all these attributes in a table, so in a pandas data frame, and then we export the data frame simply in a CSV file or Excel file, whatever you like. So we're gonna have like a price column there, an address column, a state column with the zip code, and also columns with these attributes, and the lot size as well. So let's move on.